This does not look good. Why do I feel this is a cold open right here?
Welcome to Krush House. I'm your host, Wayne Allyn, the CEO of VegasWinners.com, and the man the media calls the king of Vegas sports gambling and America's odds maker. I'm the only sports handicapper in the world with a 180-pound granite star on the Las Vegas Walk of Stars. My company, Vegas Winners, sponsors this Krush House series, which includes Krush House, the show you're watching, as well as Krush House Cappers and Krush House Legends. Whether you love sports, sports legends like Warren Moon, or sports gambling, we've got the podcast for you. I want to remind you to go to VegasWinners.com right after this podcast ends for one of my world-famous games of the year. Just register. It's simple. It's easy. It takes 1 minute, and you receive $1,000 in free coupons, which you can apply to my game of the year. You also get 5,000 reward points, which can be converted to gifts and prizes with our state-of-the-art cryptocurrency reward system, only at VegasWinners.com. Later in this show, I'll be back with my Football Insider segment with former NFL quarterback and Canadian Football League champion Sean Salisbury to bring you insights on the NFL and valuable point spread advice for all the sports gamblers out there. Right now, I'll throw it to my main men, Frank and Sean. See you all in a few minutes.
Thanks, Wayne. Hey, everybody. If you're new to Krush House, I'm Frank Nicotero here in Los Angeles. Joining me every episode is NFL expert, Grey Cup champion, NFL vet, Sean Salisbury, the one and only, live there in Houston, Texas right now. And hey, let's talk about Thursday Night Football last night. I mean, you probably thought it was going to be a defensive battle, but Tyler Heinicke, the Redskins drive, they get a second shot at that field goal. That was an exciting game. They're getting lucky on Thursday nights because if you remember last year, there was a lot of really bad games. But last night, the Skins and Heinicke really showed me something. Sean, what do you think of this kid who today said, or yesterday after the game said, yeah, I should be the starter? Should he be the starter?
Yeah, and I'll guarantee it, Frankie, that you didn't think, none of us did going into that game, that we were in for that kind of game with those two teams. I guarantee it. By the way, before I answer that, see that right there, Frankie?
Yeah.
See that right there?
Yeah.
That's I'm a simple guy, but like I'm really giddy because that's my like 300 cigar humidor. You know what I'm saying? And the Balvenie right there with the finger.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I'm Sesame Street. See what I'm saying? Teaching the kids. But that's I don't know why I wanted to share that with you, but fuck, I just wanted to share it with you. But I'm going to post one of those cigars and pop it out after what I saw last night. First off, yes, Taylor Heinicke, not only should he be his energy, he's going to be now. I love Fitz. Now, Fitz will stay in the league till he's 60, okay, and keep playing. He'll play for all 32 teams. He's a great guy to have. You saw the energy change.
Yeah.
The kid can move. He came back after a costly interception and took him down to score. A couple things stick out to me in this game that have got to change. One is they can't turn it over to the Giants. The Giants got to get going, man. Barkley, they've got to. I'm tired of the New York teams doing this, and I know their fans are. They should be better. Two is you can't self-inflict losses. Frank, think about this now. I can take an interception. I threw plenty of them. I know what the fuck it means to throw an interception. But you can't beat yourself with stupid stuff. Dexter Lawrence, there's a field goal. You can smell the fucking leather in your three-point stance. And the ball's there. The guy that's behind you, I can understand. The field goal on the line, he just misses one. You're staring at it, and and all you got to do is go on movement. Offsides. Give him another kick after the miss. They go and win it. Now, is one play always going to be the difference? No, it's 6, 8, 10 plays. But when it's mental errors and those things you can control, drives me frigging nuts. If I'm Joe Judge, I'm going crazy today. But you got to come back and do it again. Washington's defense is really good. Taylor Heinicke's energy is really good. And sometimes you just find that guy that just kind of landed in your lap that wasn't your big draft pick. Fitz will be a great backup. Heinicke gives him a better chance to win because he's active and he's urgent and he plays his ass off. He looks like he loves football.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to be the starter.
I got a couple things to say. First of all, Chase Young actually chased down Saquon Barkley. I don't know what that says about Barkley on that long run, or if it's Chase Young is just an animal. It's probably Chase Young. Secondly, Tyler Heinicke reminds me, and I know you'll remember this, when Tommy Maddox came out of nowhere from the XFL and played with the Steelers. Here was a guy no one expected, right? All of a sudden, this guy has 1 or 2 super years and might burn out, or maybe the league figures him out. I don't know, but for some reason, that situation reminds me of that. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick might get Wally pipped here for you baseball fans, and I think Heineke is the starter. But let me tell you this about Tyler Heineke real quick. I was at the liquor store right by my place here, and there was this black dude in there, and he was buying a bottle of Crown Royal, and he says, the cashier's like, "Oh, you having a party tonight?" He goes, "No, man, just going to watch a game." And I said, "Oh, are you rooting for the Washington football team or the Giants?" He goes, "Washington all day, man. I'm from the East Coast." I said, "Hey, Heineke's good, man." And he goes, "You know what we call him?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Vanilla Vic." I hadn't heard Vanilla Vic yet. But this guy's a diehard Redskin or Washington fan, and he's calling him Vanilla Vic. And that just shows you the fans love him. I mean, Chase Young loved him. I mean, heck, aren't they the team that almost beat Tampa Bay last year? They probably came closest to the playoffs with Heineke.
Yes. Yeah, and that defense is only going to get better. Their front seven, you mentioned Chase Young. I was actually talking to a guy last night. He said, "Sean, his kid plays for Florida State." He said, "Sean, I stood next to Chase Young, and I've seen him, and I've talked to Jack Del Rio, their defensive coordinator, about him. And he dresses in a phone booth, and when you can run down 4 guys from behind, it's just he's a friggin' freak show, is number one. With Heineke, too, you mentioned Maddox, and here's the difference. Maddox was a pocket guy. Heineke can do it both. There's an energy that gets him out on the edge, and there's a reason they kept him around and paid him and didn't go draft a guy this offseason, and here we are with this opportunity. I love that explanation. And by the way, he was probably after that saying, "Let's toast that drink of that Crown to Heineke after the victory last night." But there's a different energy about Washington when he's out there. He gives them a better chance to win with versatility. I don't mistake them for Super Bowl champs, but they will disrupt the playoff picture this year, I guarantee
But Sean, you've been in the NFL locker room. You know all about, you know everything. And this is why I'm going to ask you. It seems that the team loves him. And I'm not saying they don't love Fitzpatrick. I mean, Fitzpatrick is, the guy's a journeyman.
Respected.
They they want to play with this guy, and that's huge, right?
Yes, it is. And we've seen Fitz. Listen, Fitz is that guy that doesn't need any work for 6 months, and you throw him in there and he goes and throws for 400, right? Brilliant guy, Harvard guy, competitive as hell. But here's the difference. There's a ceiling, right? And you say, well, where's the ceiling? And we've gotten so caught up in the NFL and in sports of, well, if you're not a first-round draft picker, we didn't know you very well coming out of school. You don't have a damn chance in hell to be my guy. Screw that. There's franchise people found all the way around, and I understand we want the guy we drafted in the first 5 picks. Heineke really middle-fingered the world, said, "You know what, I'm about to show you that I do bring an energy." And you don't want to pit the locker room against each other, but the players always know, Frank. They just do. Yeah. They say, "I love that guy." Now, everybody needs a Fitzpatrick because he's going to win you a couple games along the way. You need a veteran. But everybody also needs the guy that all the players look around and say, "Let's face facts, guys. We may love the veteran. This kid gives us a better chance to win." And if you get a better chance to win, you got to play the guy. Hence, if we ever get to the Chicago Bears, if you don't start fucking Justin Fields at quarterback sooner than later, by the end of this month, I'm going to go to Chicago, and then you and I are going to play for him, and we're going to just say, "Andy, you go beat Fitzpatrick," and then we're going to put Fields in. So you got to have the balls of a coach to be able to do that and make that decision. Apparently, Ron Rivera, because the injury does, and I know that, I'm waiting for Matt Nagy to get the same. This kid's fun. Now, he'll have his moments of struggle, like all quarterbacks do, but he gives him a better chance. There's no question.
I agree. Now, you brought up something about the penalty at the end of the game. Dexter, the Giants guy.
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. What's the dumbest penalty you were ever in a game with? I like throwing stuff at you like this because then you bring back stories like something that maybe cost a game. Were you ever involved in a situation like that?
I don't know about cost in a game. I've been involved in stuff. Now, I can always live, and coaches usually, Frankie, can live with, you're going 100 miles an hour and, hell, Mahomes makes a great throw, right? Okay, that guy's getting paid, and he's just better than the red. You got to take the L once in a while. Or a guy's giving extra effort and reaches the ball out, and somebody knocks it out. You don't want him to, but you say, "Damn, what a great job." I'll tell you the one I can't take. That I actually think that if it costs me a game, that it's almost sending you that you can't stay here type of penalty. Okay. Is a wide receiver jumping off sides.
Yeah.
To me, it's the most, you're away from the ball. You got two jobs. The job is, if you can't hear the cadence, they're working hand signals, you got to watch the ball, man. You can't. So if it bothers me, then that kind of thing drives me friggin' crazy because you can't put your team in that bind. It's the easiest that you're standing up. We no longer get the three-point stance as a wide receiver. And you have no reason to jump off sides and illegal procedure. That one drives me crazy. And then that penalty inside like the 1 yard line, the quarterback goes on the long count. Wait a minute, you dumbass. Why are we going on the long count? We're at the 1. Oh, so we moved it 6 inches closer to the goal line. Get your team up there. They're white knuckle in the stance. Snap the friggin' ball, and let's go. So I haven't had those that have cost us a game, but I have had those that you look around and say, I don't mind a guy who's offsides because he's got 3 sacks and he's trying to get off the ball.
I love that.
But it's the controllable errors that'll get you cut. Yeah. And I can promise you it has happened in the NFL.
And by the way, I've never heard the term "take the yellow" for the flag. Take the yellow. I like that. I never heard that. I love when you give me these inside terms that'll make me look.
Well, that's the old Oakland Raiders style, Frank. Speaking of that, think about this. They used to, when they had Jack Tatum, the days when your Steelers and those great Donnie Shells and Mel Blount, Jack Lambert, with the Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers time, what they would do is take an early personal foul penalty. Like a guy's coming over the middle and they thump the shit out of him, get a personal foul call, or hit a quarterback late, and you want to know why? It was to send a message to you early that the next time you decide to roll over the middle, your head better be on a swivel, and then it took their concentration away. Or the quarterback getting hit on the first play of the game is like, oh, hell, this is going to be a long day. So there's a time and a place for those, and it ain't on a field goal attempt by a guy, like I said, who could pretty much hear the ball move in the grass. You can't do it.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Washington, and the Giants are 0-2 now. Wow, that's the New York press is going to have a field day today, I'm sure.
And they should.
Let's talk about the NFL this weekend in picks. Now, you and I, we text and you know, I had a good week last week. I had the Steeler money line. I had the Steelers to win, so that was good. The only NFL game that I had in a couple parlays that I lost, we like to talk gambling, was I had the Packers. I had the Packers teased where they were getting points. I mean, they came out so flat. The look in Aaron Rodgers' eye looked like he didn't want to be there. Where do you, I mean, what that performance by the Packers, my God, right? That was ridiculous.
It was borderline embarrassing. I mean, now maybe for the player, but the player, trust me, you come out of that game, there is no, when you're flying home, it's stone cold, it's silent, nobody's talking. I've lost games before, our team has, and guys were playing cards in the back. You know, you're supposed to get over the loss, and I've had coaches walk back there, the head coach looking around and telling a bunch of grown men, sit your ass down and don't talk, put the card games away because you got your ass kicked and you humiliated yourself. I'm imagining Green Bay probably went through a little bit of that last week, and they will respond this week. But I'll tell you what, everybody's talking about Jameis, and they should. He had a great game. Everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers, and they should. It was about as piss poor as he's ever played, but he'll come back and play well. Keep an eye on the Saints defense, Frankie. Yeah. I'm just telling you, they took everything away from them. Yeah. They faced Sam Darnold this week, and it's not going to mean, and Darnold played well last week, but the New Orleans Saints defense, when's the last time, honestly, we've said they're good, but when's the last time we weren't talking about the Saints offense first over the last decade? We always talk Saints offense first. So if you could say, Jameis, you protect the ball, we don't have to throw it 40 times, and you give us vertical push and don't throw picks, and the defense does what they did last week, while Tampa's the best team in the division, the Saints may end up being better than we thought because of the defense.
And they win that game on a neutral site, right? I mean, it's not even in the dome where they're
coming out of a hurricane.
Yeah.
Coming out of a hurricane, being displaced, Frankie.
That's impressive. And, and Lattimore gets what? He got $90 million yesterday or the other day. So, yeah, I agree the Saints are the way to go. Now, we want to hear about what Aaron Rodgers is going to do this week on Monday Night Football. And I know you and Wayne talked about it earlier. So here's you and Wayne talking about what you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do this Monday night.
All right, the one-on-one that I look forward to every week is me and Sean Salisbury, former NFL quarterback, former Canadian Football League champion. By the way, were you like the MVP of the league when you were the champion? You were the quarterback of the team that won it all.
Threw for a lot of yards. I actually got there because of my training camp in the NFL, got there a little bit late, and then we went on a run and won the whole thing, played about 11 or so games. The Grey Cup, but not in the regular season MVP, was somebody else, and I don't even know who. But that was my first year there and got to call my own plays, so it was kind of cool being a part of that. And I learned a lot about football and calling offense when I was there.
And you were the Grey Cup MVP.
Yeah, they have like 5 different people and different votes, but in one of them I was, yes.
And what did you throw for? I still remember in the championship game what your stats were?
I have no idea, and the truth is, Wayne, I probably remember a high school stat better than any stat in CFL or NFL. I know the one stat is that we were celebrating like crazy and drinking out of the Grey Cup, and that's all I cared about.
All right, another big win for Sean Salisbury. Let's win on Krush House today. So let's start with the Buffalo Bills. Are the Bills overrated? Last week, they got crushed by the Pittsburgh Steelers, just crushed. And coming into the season, all I kept hearing from every expert, betting expert, and also just football expert, everybody thought the Bills are one of the 3 best teams in the NFL with, of course, Kansas City and Tampa Bay. Everybody thought that. So are the Bills overrated?
Yeah, and Wayne, not only that, a lot of people thought that the AFC was going to go through Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, home field advantage throughout because everybody felt they were that good. And it still may happen because it's been 1 week, but that's all we have to judge on. And you hit it when you were teeing up the question. All off season, all we heard about the Buffalo Bills was great, great, great. Maybe just not. We always talk about how does a team handle adversity. Well, you also got to ask yourself how they handle success. And the success, all the talk, maybe they looked around and said, we're pretty damn good. And forgot that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't bullshit either, and they know how to play some football as well. And in front of their own audience, at home, in front of those great fans, I don't think they're overrated. I think that they got a major wake-up call and a little sledgehammer to the head. They're going to play better this week. If I was the Miami Dolphins, I would be prepared for the Buffalo Bills' best. They will play much better this week, and you'll get 4 quarters out of them. That's going to be difficult. Miami's pretty good, too. I don't think they're overrated. I think they needed a wake-up call, but this is going to be a test. We'll be able to see where are they. I think Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, their defensive coordinator, Brian Dable will have a plan for Miami. Tua better be prepared because they're going to have to be in some kind of shootout because Buffalo will score.
Well, they better be damn prepared because if you open up 0-2, you have an 8% chance of making the playoffs in NFL history.
Right.
0-2 is a disaster. And by the way, let me bring up my Dallas Cowboys. 0-2 as well if they lose this week at the LA Chargers, a very good team that last week upset the Washington Redskins. They've already beaten an NFC East team that was the champion last year. Now the Cowboys have to take them on. And the Cowboys are without DeMarcus Lawrence. They may be without Randy Gregory. By game time, we'll know if they're both out. So now there's no pass rush at all. And they're without La'el Collins, one of their 3 best offensive linemen. They got a lot of injury and missing guys. So the question is, are the Cowboys in big trouble and very likely to go 0-2?
Now, they're headed on the road against a team that's coming off. Speaking of a team that better not feel too good about themselves with Dak Prescott throwing it, boy, Arizona was a wow factor game last week. I could not believe how bad they beat up on a pretty physical team, Mike Vrabel's team in Tennessee. Now with Dallas going on the road, you know what, Wayne? I'm actually looking at this different. I actually think that Kellen Moore, their coordinator, and Mike McCarthy, the coach, are going to have them running the ball more effectively, trying to control some clock, knowing that defensively you're not going to generate a pass rush against a guy who I guarantee you by the time we get December, and Kyler Murray will be on the front of people's mind, not on the back of it when it comes to MVP talk. The key for them is, and you mentioned Collins out, can you control Chandler Jones, who had 5 sacks last week? So they're feeling good about themselves. But if you do not give Zeke Elliott more than 11 carries, I'm going to jump through the computer, fly to Arizona, and grab Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore by the nape of their neck and say, let's get a guy that you picked to get him going so it makes it easier on Prescott. I actually think the Cowboys are going to come down. This is going to come down to a last possession for me. I think the Cowboys got a chance in this one because everybody's saying they don't. And anytime you got a guy who can throw the ball like Prescott, somebody's going to have to rise up. Short field, strip sack, fumble. I actually like the Cowboys this week, even though I think the NFC West is by far the best division in football. I'm giving the Cowboys a legit chance for that next man up to do something for the Cowboys this week. But you better contain Kyler Murray because he can throw a party and deliver the party hats to him if they're not careful.
Now, I'm very good at this stuff, as you know. I'm pretty good at picking points for winners. And last week, out of 21 handicappers, guess who was number 1 at Vegas Winners picking NFL games? I was 6-2, number 1 in net wins, number 1 in winning percentage, number 1 in everything out of 21 handicappers. And I had 3 outright underdog upsets with with Arizona, with New Orleans Saints, and with the LA Chargers. So I had a great week last week, but I tend to try and stay away from my Dallas Cowboys because I know I'm so emotionally, passionately connected with them that I'm always going to go the wrong way because I love them, and you don't see things clearly when you love a team. But I do believe everything you just said. Everybody's against Dallas this week. Injuries piling up, suspensions piling up. I think that Dak Prescott takes the ball in his hands, throws 5 touchdowns, and the Cowboys win a shootout. I think it's going to work out just the way you said it. So, but again, I'm so close to the situation, it probably won't be one of my 5 picks at VegasWinners.com. I try not making a big play.
That's how I feel about my Raiders, my man. I'm looking at them traveling across country after Pittsburgh beats, and I know Frankie doesn't. I'm thinking, can the Raiders go on the road? So I try to stay away from betting on my Raiders too. So because I want to take that emotion out of it. My heart and my head don't mix when it comes to my favorite teams. There you go.
What was that? The greatest debut of a home field in front of their fans on Monday Night Football in Las Vegas with the nation watching, with an overtime win after they had the ball first and goal at the 1-foot-yard line and didn't get in, and then cause a fumble and throw a long touchdown in overtime and do get in. What a Raiders spectacular opening week with the nation watching. Amazing.
And now my anxiety may go through the roof, but I'll take another one of those this week if they want to give me one on the road in Pittsburgh. I'm all over it. It's going to be a tough one, but yeah, I'm staying away from the gambling side of the Raiders. Too much emotion for me too. Buddy.
Yeah, let's see. Overtime win in front of the home fans, first time ever in Las Vegas with fans on Monday Night Football. The whole world watching, dramatic win. Now you got to fly 3,000 miles to the East Coast and take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They may get hammered, but that's what everybody's saying, and all the betting is on Pittsburgh. So who knows? Maybe the Raiders can squeak one out. We'll see. Surprise everybody. Let's talk for a minute about the LA Rams. Let's switch from the LA Chargers to the against Dallas to the LA Rams. So I had them on Monday Night Football. That was one of my wins. I had the Rams beating up on the Chicago Bears, and they look good. I predicted preseason that this was a Super Bowl team. Stafford could bring them to the Super Bowl. They were my underdog pick to win the Super Bowl. And the question is, can they win all season long, Sean Salisbury, without a running game? Or will they get a running game?
Yeah, Wayne, I love this question because I guess the best way for me to put it, they can win. Hell, I think Stafford, what a great debut by him. You and I have been praising him, and especially about an MVP guy before the season's over, right? And there's no doubt, and Sean McVay and him look like they've been calling plays together for 15 years. Here's the key. And I was looking around, your Dallas Cowboys and Zeke Elliott, and you take a look at Saquon Barkley in New York. Look around the league at these supposed Derrick Henry last week in Tennessee. The superstar backs.
Not
okay. Then you look at San Francisco, and they've always got 2 or 3 guys that can get it done. Denver in the past. I think this team can. Yes, you'd love to have a dominant running back, but with Stafford, the way they play defense, the way that with Stafford, you don't think he loved throwing less than 30 times for those yards and not having to throw it 45 or 50 times in a losing effort? I do think they can win. I think they can sustain it. Why? You may have to use a committee and mix it in, but the success of Stafford is going to cause teams to, let's back off, not give up the big play, which will open some running lanes for them. I don't think, matter of fact, I think having a first top 3, top 5 draft pick running back is so overrated. I'd never take one in the first round. But if you can get a bunch of different bodies doing it, and you got Sean McVay, a great play caller, which is a big part of it, I do believe they can sustain it, and that NFC West is going to be a bitch all year long. I do believe the Rams can because I love Stafford and I love McVay.
What a shocker. A former NFL quarterback votes for quarterbacks being important and running backs by committee. What a shocker.
There you go, brother. There you go. That's
all right. Last question, Sean, your guarantee of the week. You've got a guarantee this week. I think it involves a guy called Mr. Rogers. Tell us what the guarantee is.
Wayne, have you? I can't remember a time when I saw him in particular play that bad, almost disinterested, the whole team. And then the Saints defense embarrassed them. The greatest scorekeeper not named Tom Brady in this league is Aaron Rodgers. He files it away. It's on Monday Night Football. He knows what everybody's saying about him and them this week. They're making wisecracks. Well, it's all because Aaron's off season. He's shouldering all this nonsense that people are talking about. Now, with him and Matt LaFleur as head coach, 6 games after a loss, 6-0. This is the 7th one. 16 touchdowns, 0 picks. Not only is this the biggest guarantee of the weekend in the NFL, this may very well be the biggest guarantee of the weekend in sports. Rodgers will play lights out. That big old spread they're playing against Detroit, they're going to cover that. This game's one of those where we're like a 41-17 type game. Aaron Rodgers is going to tee off on Detroit. Detroit will play hard. Aaron Rodgers will even the score this week to make sure the world knows on national TV that the Packers and him aren't going away. That's my biggest guarantee for sure on Sunday, and I'll include that in college football. I don't bet against the guy twice.
Well, my guarantee is that whoever picks the games for ESPN and Monday Night Football, if you ever put the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football again, you should be fired. That's my guarantee. Why would you ever have a game involving the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football? That team sucks for the last... I'm 60 years old. It sucks for the 50 years I've been watching football.
Right.
Detroit does not belong in prime time ever, and this is a rebuilding year. It's not like it's a big hopeful year for Detroit. They got rid of their greatest quarterback, and they traded him for a piece of junk that the Rams didn't want anymore. This is such a ridiculous pick to put them on Monday Night Football. Rodgers will probably destroy them. But in any case, Sean, always great repartee back and forth between you and I. Always appreciate it. NFL quarterback Sean Salisbury, CFL champion Sean Salisbury. Good stuff, my man.
Great to be with you, and you keep kicking ass in those games, man, and that's why there's that big guarantee on Monday night. You and I both know that's going to happen. I always appreciate you, brother. Thanks.
All right, big week 1 for me. Let's see if I keep it up in week 2. My first look at the games, and I'm working on them right now as we speak, is I see 2 huge ones, 2 of the biggest ones I've loved. It's been a long time since I've loved 2 games like this, so lots of good stuff coming up. Sean, thanks. See you next week.
You too, bud. Thank you.
All right, Monday Night Football. There you hear it. Sean saying take the Packers, that you think Aaron is just going to steamroll the Lions. And by the way, this Monday night, if you didn't watch it, you got to watch Manning Night Football. I mean, Sean and I, we were texting during the game because, watching Eli and Peyton Manning talk about a game while it's going on, absolutely fascinating.
It is phenomenal because, well, you obviously know about the Manning intelligence and their grind of football. Frank, I don't know if I ever told you this about just this kind of, first of all, the sense of humor is great. You know, when Peyton's wearing a helmet and Eli's laughing at him and he's going through it, and then and being able to be critical, like, what are you doing, or why is this guy doing this, and being honest, and you know what's great? What's great about the Mannings and people who can tell the truth without making it personal, and that a player won't be so offended they won't talk to the Mannings because, well, they both have earned respect and are wearing Super Bowl rings. The Mannings are like, dude, did you just criticize me? But it was kind of cool the way you criticized me. That's how you feel about them. I'm talking to a guy who played in Denver. Quarterback there, and I don't know if I've told you this story, but it's a quick one. The quarterback's throwing on air. Manning had just got there. This is a rookie quarterback. He's throwing curl routes against air. Nobody's out there. They're just warming up and dropping back 5 steps and hits and throwing a curl. And all of a sudden, Manning, after the first time, Manning looks at this kid and says, and I'm going to leave his name out, says, what was the coverage? And the quarterback looks and said, there was no coverage. I'm throwing balls against air. Manning asked him again. He said, there was no coverage. I'm throwing against air. Manning asked him a third time. And by the third time, finally the light switched on. I said, Manning wanted him to understand that when you throw against air, it's not against air. You're throwing against 11 on 11. Why did you throw the curl? Well, the underneath coverage ran to the flat. I saw the guy come off his ear, and I ripped it in the hole. Hence why, when you're watching him, he teaches you with a smile on his face or with criticism. If you could put that on a broadcast anywhere, it's gold. Yeah. And we know that. And Eli, too, and them going back and forth and battling. I'm going to tell you what, people are going to try to copy it. The problem is you got the best guy in the world doing it right now in Peyton, and Eli ain't far behind.
Yeah, they were just phenomenal. And I just thought, well, I'll check in on it and I'll see. And I feel bad for like the guys over on the ABC broadcast. I mean, I know they're only doing 8 games and they're doing this week, and then I don't know if they're taking a break. But oh my God! And by the way, I don't know what the over/under on Peyton Manning flopping back into the couch in disgust. Like when the Raiders got in overtime, when they got called for the, false start or whatever,
Right. Oh, he'll go crazy. Yes. Drives him nuts.
Those things are stupid play. You don't get that from Kevin Harlan or all the other guys or Iron Eagle. I love those guys.
I talked to a guy who played for him, a wide receiver who played for him in Indianapolis years when he was there, and I said, well, what was it like playing with Peyton Manning? He goes, I was afraid to death he said, when you walk on the field, it's different. He goes, and it's like when you don't want to disappoint your father. He was a good player, too. I'm leaving his name. So you don't want to make the mental error because Peyton gives you the old. And I can tell you this, I know this for a fact, that Indianapolis, when he was there, that practice didn't end until Peyton Manning was satisfied with the way things work. That's the kind of grinder he is. But it's addicting watching him because he's teaching you while he's making you laugh, while he's criticizing, and while he's breaking down the game. And you're like, damn, the Monday Night Crew's pretty good, but Peyton and Eli Manning are just, it's must-watch. Yeah. I guess we call it television, must-watch television.
But then they bring in like Russell Wilson, Ray Lewis, and Travis Kelce.
Hell yes. Yeah.
I say we got to get Sean Salisbury. We need Salisbury.
Yeah, I'm going to turn him down. Hey, Peyton, screw you. I'm not coming on with you. Of course. Yeah, you'll take that call. That's the bat phone, brother.
Yeah, you guys got to watch it this week. All right, talking about football, talking about picks. I just want to give out. I'm sorry, this Cleveland Brown Texans line. I know it's 13. Cleveland at home, coming off that loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Texans, yeah, they rolled, but it's against Urban Meyer and the Jags. I just look at that line. I think Cleveland has a lot to prove. That to me, I know I hate big lines. I know Wayne hates big lines, but I just, that one jumps out to me. I just think I see Cleveland winning that game, 44-14, something like that. I don't know. Do you have any picks that are jumping out?
I'm with you on that, and big spreads. I actually am jumping on a couple of those this week, and I kind of stay away from them. That to me, obviously the Green Bay Packers, I think, are 11.5 or 12.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, Atlanta's big.
Tampa Bay's right. But for that game you're talking about and being in Houston, I was impressed with the way they played last week, but they did play. Everybody thought the Texans were the worst team. Well, we've proven that the Texans aren't the worst team. The team they played may be the worst team. But I will tell you this. I actually think, Frank, while I don't believe in moral victories ever, I don't. I know you can learn from things. But watching, if you're the Browns, 3 or 4 plays, a punter dropping the ball, somebody losing the secondary where Mahomes scrambles and makes a miraculous throw. It only was about 4 plays. Other than that, the Browns kicked ass the entire game. Yeah. Mayfield played well. But I don't know how the Texans, who are kind of a base defense and they don't take a lot of chances, are going to stop Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the run game and then be prepared to stop Baker Mayfield throwing the ball, who's extremely accurate. I think this is a boat race, dude. Yeah. I think they curb stomp them. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Cleveland Browns, if they'd have beat Kansas City, I think they may have thought, well, we've arrived, and so this may be a little bit less, and I could see a backdoor cover. Not now, because they don't want to go down 0-2. I would expect them to put their foot down on the gas and to keep it there. I think I said like 41-20, 41-17. I think it's a 2-touchdown or more win as well. All right,
good. And you use curb stomp, bringing out the American History X reference.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Ed Norton. All right, now, if you guys thought Sean Salisbury was passionate talking about pro football, and by the way, I don't think the guy has given out a losing pick on the show so far. So we know Green Bay, and he's going with Cleveland too. You think he's passionate now? I'm going to shift gears to the college ranks real quick. Got to talk about USC as alma mater. I'm reading the crystal ball. I'm reading the Oregon head coach is now the favored to get this job. I don't know why he would leave Oregon right now when he's just got him rolling against Ohio State. I know you're passionate about this. Tell me your thoughts on the whole situation that's going on with your beloved alma mater.
Frank, thank you for this. And this is one, I'm a proud USC Trojan, right? A former player I've been fortunate to play with. And this is leading me, the reason I'm saying, with some great historic players, Heisman Trophy winners, first-round draft picks, award winners, Hall of Famers from college and the NFL. Here's our problem at USC. And quite frankly, I think Texas, Nebraska, Florida State, Miami are going through it. But I'll speak for my alma mater. We're arrogant. Our fan base, we all are, the former players. We're stuck, the border regions. You know why? We're stuck in 1978. Oh, we won a national title in 1978. Now, let me put this as very clear as I can put it. A 17, 18-year-old kid does not give a flying fuck about, matter of fact, they don't know who John Robinson is. Ugh. They don't know who Marcus Allen is. I'm just telling you, that window's about 5 years. So once you get below 2016 or 17 right now, history to them is what's going on now. the next coach they hire. And I like Clay Helton, but we needed a change. And is it odd timing? No, it's not odd timing. This wasn't a knee-jerk. This has kind of been, okay, we'll see what happens. COVID hits. We don't know what's going to happen. They come out sluggish. It had to happen. You get a head start on a coach. You're going to hear 50 names. Cristobal today, Eric Bieniemy tomorrow, Joe Brady, Dan Mullen, Chris Peterson, Bob Stoops. It's going to go. But they'll get their short list. Jack Del Rio, my guy. But I'll tell you this, that the arrogance of that we can live on history and Heisman trophies and all of it, I'm going to tell you, if Matt Leinert's not on TV as great as he is, back to 2004, 2005, they can tell you who Trevor Lawrence is. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. We used to call our toss sweep student body right. People in the house, that's old school. You know, this is USC, dudes. This is how we win, right? You know what the uniforms at Oregon, they know more about those uniform combinations than they do anything about student body right. So we're behind, and it is, and I try to laugh, and we get offended and prideful. And I told some of my playing buddies, I said, listen, gotta get out of that shit. This is a new age of player. They want to know name, image, and likeness, and USC should be the best name, image, and likeness school in the country. They're in LA. They got all these acting agencies, and they should dominate it. That's one. The coach better have energy. You better start keeping those guys. When Pete Carroll was there, the guys in about 150 square mile radius at home. Do you know 4 of the best quarterbacks on the planet in high school football are at Ole Miss, Alabama, Ohio State, all of them, modern day, Rancho Cucamonga, modern day, they're all in that area. And they left town to go play for Nick Saban. And you know why? Because Nick's not living on Bear Bryant's shit. Nick Saban is living on Derrick Henry, and not even Derrick Henry. He's living on Mac Jones, and he's living on now. So if SC wants to get the guy they want, you know what they better damn well do? They better go get a guy who understands they want winning championships, they want to be on national TV, they want name, image, and likeness money, and they want to make sure that they get to play on Sundays. And USC's not doing that right now. And 8-3 gets you to the Sun Bowl. It's not good enough. And so they better find a coach who gets that and quits talking about history. Let us players talk about, back in the day when we're having a beer and we're 60. These kids could care. They don't even know who I am, and I'm not. They don't know who Reggie Bush is unless he's on TV right now. 17-year-olds care about the future and the now. They don't care about the past.
Well, and I loved hearing your thoughts on USC. By the way, the newest addition to my collection, that's a Troy Polamalu signed helmet, Trojan, right there. Steeler helmet right there. So I got Troy Polamalu.
Yes, and I'll tell you right now, Frank, the best safety in high school in California is not real sure who Troy Polamalu is. I don't mean that to Polamalu, but I tell you right now, he knows who Jalen Ramsey is. You get my point? There you go. That's why.
Thank you, Sean Salisbury. Thank you, Wayne Allyn Root. Make sure you go to Vegas Winners to get free winners, ladies and gentlemen, and come back to Krush House where we have fun every week. I'm going to go sit on the couch and wait for the Steeler game. I'll probably change my shirt because I don't know why I'm wearing blue. If you notice during the show, this opened up a few times, so this might be for the ladies at home. Oh, no? Okay. That might be the cold up.